3, 2, 1.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This is The Real Pineapple. This is Hunter, and we've got a call me Danny Tanner because we've got a full house here tonight. I've got
nailed it.
Thank you.
I want to be the twins.
Okay. Well, you eat though, so I don't know if you can be Mary Kate or actually.
Burn.
This is Hunter.
Burn. I was just thinking
Love
that
it.
I'm adorable, like little Mary Kate and Ashley.
You know, that is true. You are. I feel like Scott pictures from when. How old are they when they were doing that dumb show? Like 5?
Probably like 5 or 6.
Yeah. Okay, just real quick. Did either one of you watch Full House? I could never get in that show.
I watched it religiously.
I didn't watch it. I've seen many episodes.
Like every TGIF. I think I was on the couch ready for it.
Ooh.
I actually thought Step by Step was way funnier.
Oh, I was into the whole block. I watched all 2 hours every time.
Nice.
Like I've gone back and watched some Family Matters, and man, what a derp show.
Oh, they're all terrible.
They're
If I rewatched any episode of any of those shows right now, I wouldn't be able to make it 3 minutes before turning it off because I was cringing so hard.
They wouldn't what you say hold up. So yeah, it's they're hard to get through again. But like I don't know if you've seen someone put out a video of the intro to Full House, but it's all Ron Swanson's face.
Yes,
this is amazing.
Incredible.
The internet's great. Love it.
The internet is a great place. And speaking of things for children, we are reviewing. Which can we talk about the fact that we started the podcast about 4 years ago, and if you would have told me 5 years ago, hey, Hunter, you'll be running a podcast, but you guys will be doing a Dora the Explorer live-action TV movie review in 2019, I'd go, you're fucking insane. And yet, here we are. So we're talking about Dora in the Lost City of Gold, which I went and saw with Colin, and I will just say right now, I'm happy I saw it with Colin because normally I have to suffer through these kids' movies to review by myself. But Colin was right there with me, and oh man, I told Colin when we were heading in, I told him I don't think we're gonna have. I would take the under at 25 people in that theater with us, and I think I was right. I don't think there were 25 people in there.
It was certainly no opening night of Lion King status.
Yeah, there were not a lot of people there. I mean, there were rows that were empty, and I obviously this is a recording, so you can't see my face, but I wish there was a way I could capture the look on the guy's face when I handed him my ticket, and just the judgmental look he gave me,
hey, at least you guys had a partner to go in with. Like, I mean, thank God for the kiosk, because I didn't have to stare someone in the face and ask for a Dora the Explorer
snuck
ticket.
in like a sneak.
Yeah, take my ticket. Say, all right, I can find it. I'm fine. Thanks. I'll stink my way in. The great part is you get to, the theater I went to, you get to choose which seat that you sat in, and I was like, okay, let's find the seat farthest away from anyone else. All right, perfect. And it was like half full, so it was
okay.
I had a good crowd, mostly probably under the age of 12.
as I would expect. So I just gotta say, this movie. I was listening to a review of The Boss Baby the other day, which is one of my favorite. Which is one of my favorite reviews we've ever done. If you've not listened to that review, highly recommend.
I can't believe I wasn't on an island on that one.
I can't either.
And I feel like, and I bring that review up because I feel like I'm going to be on an island on this one. I feel like I like this more than both of you. And so I'm going to peg your grades right now. I think Colin's going to give it, and obviously save it till the end. But I think Colin's going to give it.
Peg our grades?
Yeah.
No, because I'm genuinely curious what you guys thought.
Well, let's talk it out.
So, okay. I went into this thinking like Emoji Movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, you know what I mean, Scott? Because me and Scott, we reviewed that together,
Right.
and
we had low expectations going to that one, I would say as well, right?
Oh, yeah, but I remember just leaving the theater genuinely pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was angry leaving the theater. I was like, I hate everyone.
I almost left that theater. Like
Did you really?
I don't remember last time I actually walked out of a movie, but I was really close in that one.
Yeah, like I despise that film. But watching this, while it is dumb at points, and God help me, is it dumb at some points? I never felt the urge to walk out. Partially because Colin face palmed at least 3 times, and that made me laugh even more. like Colin. There's this one part in the movie where when Swiper first shows up, we both looked at each other like, "What the fuck are they watching?"
No, the best part was when Boots first talked, and then you, like, if you would have been drinking a margarita, you would have spit it all over the person in front of you.
Because
it's the lowest voice ever too. Danny Trejo, right? And it's just out of absolute nowhere. It's like, oh, we're here now.
Yeah, okay, so let's break this.
Yeah, run it back, Hunter. What happens?
So Dora the Explorer, and I knew this little girl looked familiar, and she's and I'm gonna butcher her name. I'm so sorry, but Isabela Moner is what I'm saying. I'm gonna go with that. So she plays grown up unquote Dora. She was actually that little girl in that derp Transformers movie. Don't worry, I'll tell you which one. Transformers the Last Night. The whole they're trying to
the one that we loved.
Yeah, exactly. That little girl who had the little Autobot that was like her pet, when they were doing that.
I really try not to remember those movies.
That's
I'm being
fair.
completely honest with you.
I'm actually proud of myself for not remembering.
Yeah.
Well, I envy the both of you. But she was actually in this movie Instant Family with Rose Byrne and Mark Wahlberg, and I really enjoyed her in that. I thought she actually did great in that. So seeing her in this,
the second Sicario as well. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. I was like, this girl, she could be good as Dora. And I will say, the best part about this movie for me is Dora, because the girl just has a very natural charisma to her, and I think she could. I'm not saying she's going to be, like Jennifer Lawrence or Meryl Streep, but
Dora becomes Meryl Streep. I would love it.
They should have had Meryl Streep play Dora. She can play anything, so fuck it. Do some de-aging of Meryl Streep, shrink her down, and boom, you've got Dora. But this little girl, she did a really good job with what she was given, and there is a genuine, just kindness with her. Because, of course, this is very much a fish out of water story. She grows up in the jungle, but then you gotta go to high school because shut up.
It's kind of a George of the Jungle dressed up.
Yeah. Like, if you took George of the Jungle and National Treasure and basically blended them together, you'd get this. And I actually like George of the Jungle.
Yeah, I love George of the Jungle.
I actually really
Brendan
like that
Fraser
movie.
killed it.
Yeah, kill the game, but there is a sweetness to her that when kids are just kind of being dicks to her, she's really not going out of her way to hurt anyone. She's just being earnest and just being sweet, and of course, because it's high school. Which, by the way, this is one of those high schools where apparently just adults don't exist. Like, they have one adult there on this field trip who just does the shittiest thing. Goes, oh, hey kids, I'm gonna send you off in this big giant museum by yourself. I'm gonna go to the cafeteria and think about my life choices, and you never see the teacher again. He's like, hope you don't get lost. I'm out. like
they do make school seem like really shitty.
Yeah,
you would never want to be nice at a school, or everyone would just hate you.
Yeah,
but her. I mean, to be understood, Dora. If you've ever seen the cartoon, the running show, she's like over the top bubbly, and I feel like they translate well in this one, where she kind of still has that like naive demeanor, but is not like too cartoonish.
Yeah, she wasn't naive to the point of being stupid, because there's a point where her cousin Diego grown up is like, people are laughing at you. She's like, yeah, I get that, but I'm not gonna let mean people like take that away from me. And I was like, you know what, that is a shockingly good message to have in this film, which I never thought I would say. When the movie starts off, it starts off with Dora as 6. And she looks right at the screen, and I can't remember what she says. She goes, "Can you say whatever she says?" And I Colin will tell you, I laughed out loud. Like, I knew it was coming, but I was just like, like, okay, that's a good fourth wall break. And Michael Pena and Eva Longoria, they look at her like, what the fuck are you doing? like she'll grow out of it. It's fine. The movie, and again, I'm not saying it's as good as this. It's kind of like a 21 Jump Street for kids, because like it's based off something that's insane anyway. Mm-hmm. They definitely knew that they needed to have fun with this in order for it to be
watchable. Yeah,
exactly.
So like, what I was curious, because going into it, I kind of had like that same feeling of like Power Rangers or something along those lines, where it's kind of for kids in a way. Like, how they were going to make that fun and enjoyable to watch, like you said, palpable.
Yeah.
But I was like, before we even went, I was like, okay, if this, what does a good Dora the Explorer live action movie even look like? And I feel like you have to kind of stick to your guns and not try to be too, not even child, to say this wasn't childish, but like there's so many parts that are very hard to overlook. But I don't feel like it was too over to the, like, it knew what it was working with. Like, if you had seen the cartoon version of this would really like play right in with like the same themes, and like you said, breaking the fact that they broke the fourth wall is like, I think that was a smart choice.
Yeah, Colin, kind of your thoughts heading into this.
Okay, I'll say this.
Here we go.
This is what I was feeling when I was going to see the movie. I think I had seen the trailer maybe once. I don't even know if I had seen it. I know that I had just seen the big billboard for it, like, in the theater while I was with Hunter, and Hunter was like, "Oh, we gotta see this," and I was like, "Sure, whatever." So that's like my expectations of this movie, like, going in. I knew what Dora the Explorer was, of course. Classic Nick Jr. TV show.
Yeah.
But it was after my time. I talked to Hunter about this when we were on the way. I was like, I was more of the Blues Clues era. I never had like I don't have that like, that deep lore of the knowledge of the show. I'm sure it's very deep. But going in, I was like, I'm sure it's gonna be funny either one way or the other. As the movie starts, I was actually stunned. Like, first they got me because they were like, backpack and the map, and they all had faces, and I was like, oh shit, am I in for an hour and a half of this? I was like, oh damn, I may walk out. At least that was a prank. They're like, no, we're just fucking with you. Like, it's gonna be better than that. So I was like, okay, I appreciate that. They hit me with my worst nightmare, and then they took it away. And that's not really
it's all uphill from there.
So I was like, okay, good job, movie. That was pretty clever. That was good. I'm in for whatever you got. And then they have Dora go to the high school, and she's homeschooled, and she's fish out of water, but she's just a genuinely good person, and it kind of says a lot about how they feel about the public school system. There's it's gonna turn everybody into psychos, and they're just all.
Dude, I didn't even think about that.
All they care about is their social interactions, and no one learns about anything. And then she shows up, and she's like, "Oh, I know everything because I just dedicate all my time to my studies." But obviously she's awkward, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm down for this movie. This is actually good. I want to see this fish out of water, George of the Jungle, if you will, movie play out. This is gonna be good. Then they get kidnapped.
Ooh.
And all breaks loose. I mean, all matter of hell of just dumb starts flying at the screen, and that's where they lost me. That's how I'll preface my review.
So I will say I was kind of right there with Colin. I didn't think it was as but the moment Swiper shows up, I went, "Oh motherfucker!" I went, "This is where."
So Boots in this movie is completely computer generated, as well as Swiper is, and there's another animal or two that are as well. But it was like it kind of took me a while to get used to having Boots around because that's the first one that's introduced. And you're like, okay, all right, I guess I'll play along. And like you're saying, once they introduce Swiper, then it's like, oh, I guess so. Like it's almost like they couldn't decide whether or not to commit to doing what, like, to pay homage to what the show was, or like they almost couldn't find a place for it. So they felt like they just kind of had to like throw it in there, and
that's a good way to put it.
It felt super forced, and it didn't. I don't know. It didn't like. It kind of took you out of it because there are specific moments in this movie. One of my probably favorite parts was they're creeping through the jungle and they come across this like flower patch, basically, and it's like one of those don't touch anything situations. And of course, one of them gets touched, and they start like you're wondering what it is, and this flower, like all these flowers bloom and pollen essentially goes everywhere. Like, okay, is this poisonous? But they end up just tripping, really, which I thought was kind of hilarious. And the movie goes from live action back to animated. And I thought that was really clever, and that they were able to kind of like animate part of it to kind of do a throwback. But that seemed like it fit. Like there were certain parts of the movie like that where like, okay, this is purposeful. But yeah, I think they forced it with the Swiper character and just kind of dumbed everything down.
So there were two characters that drove me fucking nuts in this movie. One was Ingenio Derbez. He was the guy who starred in How to Be a Latin Lover.
I knew you would hate him. The
dude,
moment I saw him, I knew you would hate him.
My God in heaven. This guy...
Did you like him, Scott?
No. When I saw him, he's like the over-the-top annoying that I know, like, Hunter really hates.
Like, it is some of the worst slapstick I've seen in a minute. Like,
what I watched? Sorry to cut you off for a sec, but
go ahead.
You know what I just watched last night was the Mr. Rogers documentary.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mr. Rogers would loathe this character.
So
he would.
True.
It's so slapsticky and detrimental to our youth.
You are God. Oh my. Okay, let's run with that real quick because he is such a stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe more so than anything in this movie. Like the moment so basically after Dora and her friends get kidnapped, they break out of this crate they're in, and first off, his first lines in the movie are come with me if you want to live," which I'm just like, can we fucking stop doing that, please? Like, I hate when Terminator does it now. I hate whenever movies do that. It's like, all right, cool. So the moment he says that, I'm like, oh, cool, you're the bad guy. And then she follows it up with, oh yeah, I'm a pause, friend of your parents. I'm like, oh, okay, so you're clearly not a friend of her parents, so you're the bad guy. And so
I will hand up. They got me on that one.
Did they really?
I fell right in that trap.
God damn.
I hated that character, but I fell right into the trap.
Yeah, I knew that trap.
I think
I had officially stopped caring at that point. I don't think I even noticed something happened. I was like, oh, he was the bad guy? Whatever.
Oh, okay.
When is it over yet?
Yeah. And then there's a scene where they're in quicksand. And
that's terrible.
So, okay, here's the thing about that. I will say about that scene. We talk a lot about movies that have like mostly African American casts, and it's like kind of a made by for black people kind of a thing. And sometimes the stereotype goes too far, and I feel like that's what his role was in this. Like, part of the Dora the Explorer show is you learn about things, but also learn Spanish at the same time, because like she's constantly saying things like in English then in Spanish, so it's kind of like a whole learning process. But this is like they're all kind of proud, and then you have this kind of all over the place buffoon that's like, oh, this is a carne asada, and they just like oh, this like making fart noises.
See, this
fart
is what,
noises in the fucking quicksand.
I think Hunter would agree how assaulting it is, but he like the farty laughy stuff. Hunter, it gets you.
Yeah, like, dude, that shit just bothers me, man. Like, and you've heard me on the podcast. I make puns all the time. They're fucking terrible, but even I have a point to where my humor goes, you know what? No, I'm not giving you that. And just the fact they're in quicksand. And I'm like, oh, yeah, because you couldn't, die here or anything. And they go out of their way to go, oh, quicksand, but let's make a fart joke first. It's like, oh, fuck off. And when they get into the jungle initially, he goes, oh, yeah, don't touch anything. You want to be safe. And he hits a spider web and just has a fucking panic attack. Like, and he runs into a branch and goes, oh, that's how you don't freak out. It's like, oh, fuck you. Oh, I hated that character so much.
It's almost like sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I feel like they had to put that in. That was like the kids' character. Like they felt like, oh, the kids won't understand this. We better throw in some like Three Stooges guy and have him run into a cobweb and then straight into a pole. Like it's so. I feel like it's just beneath the movie.
Yeah, that's where they kept losing me. And I think that's exactly right, Scott. They were like, we have to make this entertaining still for like 6-year-olds. Mm-hmm. So we have to throw in the fox for no reason.
Right.
Like it's. I feel like it was the stuff that was catering to the little kids was completely taking me out of the movie, and I'm just like, you're ruining the movie with all this goofy, wacky, dumb shit. I think that's where I was at. And that's just probably because I'm a 32-year-old jaded movie critic on a podcast.
You said it yourself. You were starting to get hooked in the beginning, and then they ruined it. Like
they pulled the rug on me on the good stuff.
Yeah, and like we talk about kids' movies all the time, so we judge them on the same level because you can make a good movie that's like also geared toward children.
So the movie kept losing me and didn't getting me back. Like, anytime I went back to Dora having an earnest moment, I'd go,
Dora was
okay.
great. I completely agree with you with Dora was great.
So like, I'll give you a perfect example. So there's a point where Dora's talking to her grandma, and she goes, like, am I weird? And she goes, yeah. Like she doesn't bullshit her. She's like, yeah, you're weird, but you're no weirder than the rest of us. And goes, like, hey, let's go have dinner. And then, like, the next scene, she shows up to school, like, all right, it's gonna be another, like, it's gonna be a better day, and the door to the bus closes on her, and she's hooked by her backpack, and it's like, derp, and I just looked at Colin, I was like, dude, come on, like, because I'll tell you, I was trying to get the movie, like, I was sitting there like, come on, movie, like, give me a reason to like you more. But Colin would just go derp at multiple points when something was stupid.
Okay, but while I may have like brought the movie down for you at some certain points, you were bringing it up for me as well. Because some of the stuff that I probably would have rolled my eyes at, like some of the stuff you genuinely were just joyfully enjoying and laughing. So it just like, it was infectious. So I was like, I don't know, that was kind of funny. Like some of the kid stuff hit. But that shit where she had the poo and then they came up with the poo song.
Oh my God.
I was rolling my fucking eyes. I was not laughing.
Okay, so that brings me to the other part. So Madeline
the part she's singing the poo song though is pretty. I enjoyed that.
And that's just Dora holding the whole movie up the best she can.
Absolutely right.
She's always charming and delightful, and then everyone else is terrible. Yep. I don't think I liked one other character in this movie. Even Michael Pena, who I liked at moments, like he killed it.
Okay.
He just killed me on the rave beatboxing.
Mm-hmm. So
that was so hard to watch.
So
Michael
cringy.
Pena. Okay, so Eva Longoria, like, honestly, Dora might as well just have a dad, because Eva Longoria barely says anything in this movie. I'm sure they're just like, we need a Latina female. Are you free? Yeah, sure. Like, he barely has any dialogue. I was kind of like, all right, why get Eva Longoria then? But whatever. But Michael Pena, goddamn, man. Like, I like Michael Pena. I really do like him. But in some shit, I just go, God, you do not need you. There's a point where your editor or your director needs to go, oh yeah, we need to cut the scene right now because what the hell. So there's this scene early on where they're about to send Dora to school, and they go like, okay, so like you're gonna be interacting with people and everything, and they're gonna be people who invite you to parties, and they're called raves, and they have music, and it goes like, and that goes on for a solid 2 minutes, and I was looking at Colin like, dude, like, if they're gonna keep doing shit like this,
I had to put my whole face in my hand, like I couldn't watch.
You did.
I was honestly like curling into a ball because it was so cringy.
It's like one of those moments in the theater. You like hold your breath. And you're like,
I was like,
when is this gonna be
stop.
over? When is it gonna be over?
Oh my god.
Okay, I could breathe again.
Yeah, it was not stopping. And then at the end of all that, he goes, "Oh yeah, we just want to say be careful." And Eva Longoria was like, "Yeah, you could have just said that." And I feel like that wasn't even the script, or she was just like, "God damn it,
stop! We need to stop this."
Yeah, like you're pissing me off. But there's that scene like I talked about where Dora talks about, you know, just being happy despite people's negativity. She's super polite to everyone. There's one scene where she is in school, and I could see how some critics would go, "It's dumb," but the school has, you know, like a metal detector, so they like search her backpack, and so they go through, they find like iodine pills, and they find like, you know, like a portable tent and all these things that she has. And yeah, it is slapsticky to a little bit of extent, but it goes out of its way to show that, hey, Dora's capable and that she's actually prepared for anything. And I thought that was a cool scene, just to go, okay, she's not, she's not just a little kid. She actually does know, like, heaven forbid, if something were to go south, how to survive. Scott, you brought up the whole thing with the flowers earlier, that scene. That scene was brilliant because you get to see, when they start tripping, you get to see their cartoon versions of themselves. And I thought that was just such a slick way to refer to the cartoon. I was like, you know what? Okay, well played, movie. Now, granted, that does have the giant implication that Alejandro, Eugenio Derbez's character, exposed himself to children.
True.
Yeah, got a little
they kind of slid that under the rug.
Yeah,
a little weird.
Yeah, which normally you have to be a priest to do, but but they have him just run off naked in front of these children. I'm like, all right, are we not going to address the fact that just happened? But okay, sure. The last scenes is when we like the final third act where Alejandro reveals himself to be the bad guy, dun dun dun. Spoiler. And you get more Swiper, and I'll be honest, whenever Swiper showed up, Swiper might as well have been a fucking Avenger, because like the way Swiper is moving, he's like a fucking mercenary. He's like jumping through like car windows and doing backflips and but you know what I mean? He's like a soup. He basically was fucking Idris Elba's character from Hobbs and Shaw, but in fox form, because like all the shit he's doing, you're like, wait a minute, like this fox is this talented and wears a Ninja Turtle mask apparently too, which all right. I mean, and the fact that's Benicio del Toro, like I'm sure that's the easiest check he'll ever make in his career, so I get it, like, but Swiper just bothered me, man. I think that was kind of my line. Like, tell me if I'm full of shit, but Swiper just bugged the shit out of me.
Well, they never establish at any point, like, what are the rules? Like, can all animals talk? Or are these super special animals that there's only,
it's true.
The two of? Like,
there are some plot holes.
No, but of course.
No, I'm not even like trying to be a dick right now, but
I'm just saying, like, this is where they weren't catering to a more like somebody like trying to give the movie too much credit. They were just like, no, fuck you. It's a talking fox who has superpowers. Fuck you.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so I mean,
that's so valid, because like
they could have had one throwaway line where it's like, oh, he's one of the 5 scientific experiment foxes that got out.
Like right,
cool,
yeah.
There we go. Now we have an explanation.
This is the Chernobyl fox.
The Chernobyl fox.
Because I think because when they were tripping on the flower pollen, the map came to life. And before it was an inanimate object. And I feel like if they did the same for the animals, then that could just explain it quickly, where it's like they run into a fox, and it happens to be Swiper. But in real life, it's like actually a fox and not a weird. Like it was walking on 2 feet the whole time too, which
thank you so much for bringing that up.
It's in the cartoon, but that's not necessary. That's not the point of this live action movie.
Well, because Boots walked around kind of like a monkey at points. Like he would like be on all fours, but then like he would but yeah, like in Boots, and this is gonna sound insane, but one of the things that helped make me go, "Aw," at multiple points during this movie, Boots is so goddamn cute. I'm like, this, like, granted, he's not wearing boots, which I like all the time, which I went, all right, that kind of defeats the name of his character, but whatever. But he was so fucking adorable. It's like, oh, okay. And so when she sees him after they end up in the jungle, which by the way they also do not explain, because she left Boots at home. Like they make a point to go like she left Boots at home. So the fact that Boots would find a way to get to the jungle, whatever. Shut up. But it was cool to see their reunion, and I will. And I didn't even mention this character yet. I was trying to, and I kept getting sidetracked. Nicholas Coombe. I'll say he plays Randy. He's one of the few white people in the movie. Oh my god, dude, this kid. I think this kid sucks. I think he's so goddamn bad. Like he's Taylor Lautner in Twilight bad. I think he's fucking horrible. And anytime he's trying to be like nerdy and like clumsy to Dora, he was like a shittier version of Hugh Grant. That's what I kept thinking, because he was always stumbling over his words, like, "Oh, it's a girl. Oh no, talk to her. Oh," like kept doing shit like that. And then when they're in ancient tombs, he's like, "Oh, it's like a video game. Oh, let's pull this lever." I'm like, "Stop touching shit!" And like, it's constantly putting him in danger. Like, "Oops, I had no idea." It's like, well, then don't touch anything, you fucking asshole. And the movie keeps playing it off like, "Oh, Randy, you're so crazy." It's like, no, you're going to kill everyone if you keep doing this shit. And Scott, please.
No, you're absolutely right. He's the kid version of the other character. What is his name?
Alejandro.
Alejandro, yeah. He's like the kid version of him, and it is a little bit over the top. I don't know, it's hard because there were moments that I didn't absolutely hate the crew that she's with, but then sometimes it's just the most cringeworthy few seconds on screen, because like there's a relationship that forms between Diego and what is her name, Sabrina, I want to say.
Sammy, I think is your name.
Yeah, and it's just so weird and awkward, and not even to the point where you're like, "Oh yeah, I remember what that was like." It was like just over the top, which is like what we've been saying. It's how the movie has been. Everything outside of Dora was, subpar.
Colin, kind of your thoughts on Sammy, because I have a lot to say about her, so I'll let you go first.
Which one's Sammy's
the chick,
the other girl in the crew?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're all just bad. I didn't like anybody but Dora. Like, I genuinely thought every other person in this movie, like, certainly the other 3 kids, I thought they were all really bad actors.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Dora, I thought the actor playing Dora is really good, and she actually kind of highlighted how bad the other 3 were.
Probably because she's like 18 or 19, and the other kids are legit like 13, 14-year-olds.
They all seem like they should be on like Nickelodeon TV shows. Mm-hmm. They're not like movie star caliber. They just seem like really slapsticky, dumb, big, over-the-top, melodramatic facial expressions. Like shit that should just probably is on TV for kids, and adults never have to see them.
they will be in a Disney Channel original movie for like next year.
Yeah.
Like, that's where they belong.
Yeah, this was probably their shot. I don't know if they're gonna get picked up to do more stuff. I don't see that.
Yeah, like
sorry, it sounds mean. I'm like, I don't want them to I don't want their careers to fall apart. But like, I don't think that anybody else.
Gotta give it to them straight. You know, they gotta hear it sometime.
Yeah, but yeah, Madeline Medine, she was in bitch mode the whole time, and is a bitch from jump. Might I add?
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's her role, but it was too much.
Yeah, it was just like a caricature of like, you know, an emotion, a constant emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's not acting. You have no like range. It's just you're just doing one over the top character emotion the whole time.
And I will say too, something that did make me laugh, like that at the end of like, so we talked about the fact that she is singing like this poop song because like she's like, oh, I haven't pooped in 48 hours, so they go like, oh hey, like Dora's like, time to dig a hole or dig a trench. It's like, okay, like got like and so she's singing the poop song, and so they end up getting chased through the woods while she's pooping. So she just pulls her pants up and doesn't like finish, presumably.
Oh,
so
she had some poopy pants.
I was thinking the exact same thing, and I was like,
she's got poop pants. Everyone
they should have just thrown in a little skid mark just for continuity.
I mean, that's why she's never gonna get another role in a movie. She's gonna walk into auditions. They're like, "Oh, poopy pants." We were all thinking about how you totally had poop in your pants.
Yeah, and you didn't even show it. You got to go all the way if you want to be an actor in this business. Like,
which
there should be
is she walking into in this?
She should have been a huge skid mark, like all the way down her pants.
Boom.
That would have been good.
That would have been so good.
That would have got me. I would have been like, movie.
Turned you A+.
I thought you were clever before, but damn. Skid
mark. And speaking of continuity, can we talk about the fact that after the quicksand scene and they run into this mystical woman who they never explain how she's mystical, by the way.
Yeah, and they're just like, oh, it's just the weird woman. Don't worry about her.
That's how I understood it.
Yeah. So they meet this mystical woman who basically tells them to stop looking for a lost city of gold. And in the movie, she turns into like a princess. Yeah. I was like, what? Wait, what?
That's like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull shit right there.
Oh, dude. Okay. I am so happy you brought that up because Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, the last third of this movie is basically the end of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
It kind of is.
Where they meet the tribe who are defending the lost city of gold. Dora and her friends get through all these traps, which, by the way, once Dora and her friends get through all these traps because Alejandro makes them go to the lost city of gold to get him all the gold, they get separated from Alejandro, but then they go through all the traps. But then Alejandro's like, oh, cool, you did all the traps for me. But from what you've seen prior, you went, that doesn't make any fucking sense that he'd be able to get down to where they are because he did all the other traps. Shut up, fine. But at the end of the movie, though, they have this, to quote Legends of the Hidden Temple, basically the Shrine of Silver Monkey in this spot in the temple. And this swiper shows up and takes the monkey like an asshole. And then the whole temple just comes crushing down.
Well,
like, and what the fuck am I watching?
I mean, they might as well just started playing Benny Hill music. I mean, it was so ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's just... And the tones were just really were mad, just like crashing against each other in that last that final third act. And I will tell you right now, explorer, the word explorer is the Fast and Furious equivalent of family in this movie. if you took a shot every time you heard the word explorer, you would be dead. Yeah. Oh my god, dude! They said it at least 18 times, and I'm probably on the under, on that. Like, they say explorer, especially in that third act. They're like, we're not treasure hunters, we're explorers. Like, Jesus Christ, okay, like, I get it. Like, you're not gonna take the gold because you're a good person, whatever, okay? Like, but just sitting back thinking about it, because, like I said, this was so much fun to watch with Colin, because Colin, he had multiple points where he just looked at me like, what the fuck? And there were times I looked at Colin, I'm like, I'm liking this, but even I admit this is fucking stupid. And it kept going back and forth. It was like the worst rubber band ever. Like, it was like I'd be like, oh, that's kind of funny. Oh, that was dog shit. Oh, that was cool. oh, but then you fall in quicksand. Like, it kept going back and forth. It didn't know really if it wanted to be more slapsticky, if it kind of wanted to be a playful homage to its source material. I think about something like Scott Pilgrim, where it just balances it perfectly, where it definitely makes fun of the comics, but it definitely doesn't like a loving way. And there are points where I felt like this was loving to a point, but there are points too where I went, okay, this is kind of mean spirited, or you just don't know how to connect the humor. And you guys both know, as we kind of wrap up here, one of my biggest pet peeves is a dance number at the end of a kid's movie. And I was sitting there, I'm like, oh God, don't you do it. I was like, don't you fucking do it. So they, of course, get back to the jungle, and they're all saved, hooray. And normally, this bothered me because of the context, because they're back in the jungle at Dora's parents' house. So the fact of the matter is, they travel back to the school just so they could go ahead and have a dance number at the end. I was like, oh, fuck off. And they even make the girl Madeline, Sammy, that character, even has a line about, oh yeah, and I had dysentery, and the kids just keep on dancing like nothing fucking happened. And
I missed that part because I snuck out right as the parents were like crying at the very end, which was really weird. And then so I was like, it was like it was pulling back and music was starting to play. I was like, all right, now I can get out of here. Because you gotta beat the rush, especially when it comes to a sticky situation like a theater full of small children and you're a single white male just lingering about. Like, oh no, I'm a reviewer. I do reviews. So yeah, reviewer. I just review stuff.
Parents are not gonna buy that one.
No one ever buys that. So what's there's a big dance number, everyone dances at the end.
Yeah, Colin, you want to go ahead and kind of
I mean, it's just like a bunch of dog shit at once. Like, I don't know what to say about it. It's so stupid. I mean,
that's brilliant. No, that's perfect.
It's literally like, I think the words were like, we came together, that's the real treasure.
Oh, wow. Actually, that's exactly
what
I'm pretty sure those were the lyrics. Well, you know why I know that? Because that was probably 80% of the lyrics, and they said it over and over and over and over and over again. So the kids would get it stuck in their head, and they're like, I want to watch Dora again. I'm like, yeah, because you were manipulated into thinking it was good because they stuck a phrase in your head.
Oh, no. It is... No, it's like that ship Pokemon South Park where it's...
Pokemon.
Like, because, they repeat that lyric. Dude, that's just, you just totally made that register. Oh, God, I might end up listening to that song on Spotify afterwards.
Don't do it. You'll never get it out of your head.
Dude, seriously, though. But, okay, so wrapping up here, final thoughts. Like, I wasn't angry leaving the theater, but God almighty, there were multiple points. I was like, oh, this is really upsetting me, and I don't like it at all. Just because I thought Isabela Moner was surprisingly good in this, I'm gonna... Oh, man. Okay. I'm gonna give this a C. Yeah. Because I was thinking C+. Like, that's too high. But because honestly, without her, this is a go fuck yourself. If she's not in this is such dude. I might even told Colin, like, dude, we can leave. Like, I bring it up every now and then. I have not walked out of a movie, but oh man, if this was like, I don't even know. This is like Selena Gomez when she was on Disney Channel. I might have walked the fuck out of here.
I would have thrown something at the screen if that was Selena Gomez.
Because this was rough at points. But Isabela Moner, I really think she could be something. I really think she could be a star moving forward. And the thing is, this filmed about as well as just good film. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, James Bobbin, he was a director. He directed one of my least favorite movies ever. He did the he's a producer, on Alice Through the Looking Glass, which, but he's a director on the Muppets reboot, and he was a screenwriter on Muppets Most Wanted, which I actually like Muppets Most Wanted. I don't like it as much as I like the first reboot with Jason Segel, but. And then Nicholas Stoller, he was the writer on it. He was a screenwriter on Dora, obviously. He actually was a screenwriter on Captain Underpants movie, which I really enjoyed. And he's got some mixed, a very mixed track record. He did he used to producer, writer, director on Get Him to the Greek. I love Get Him to the Greek. He was a director on Forgetting Sarah Marshall. But then he unfortunately was a screenwriter on Zoolander 2. Screenwriter on Sex Tape, which, if you have not listened to our Sex Tape review, I highly recommend. Dude, I love that fucking review. But and then he did Night School, which was one of my worst movies of the last. I fucking hate Night School. So a mixed track record, but for what this was and how bad it could have been, I gotta give him credit. This worked better than it should have. So yeah, C for me. Scott, your final thoughts and grades, sir.
Yeah, I think we talked about it a lot. I feel like, having that writer that worked on the show helped with continuity from the show to the movie and kind of brought out some fun things. That is why people like the show so much. Isabela, I don't know if it's Moner or Moner, she definitely killed it in this movie, and as kind of a strong female role, it wasn't over the top, it wasn't in your face. She was just kind of stuck to her guns, and that was kind of the whole message, which I thought was a positive one. I was probably at a B- most of this movie, and then the end where it just kind of, I felt like they threw it together, and it wasn't really the climactic ending that I was looking for. So one of the things about making a movie in the jungle is you can just kind of do a bunch of scenes in the jungle and then just connect them all together, and they don't really have to. It's oh, you're still in the jungle, and then here's another scene also in the jungle, and so I felt like they were able to probably do a lot with that, and I didn't. Just the way it came together in the third act seemed lazy, and it didn't seem like they were trying to not be that way most of the movie, and I think it fell off in the third act. So I gotta give this one a C+, which is, same with you, Hunter, better than I thought it would be, for sure. And I might even recommend it to someone maybe younger who did watch Dora a lot, but I wouldn't pay much more than matinee for it.
No, and that's fair. The thing is, though, I never felt like this would torture me if I was a parent. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would just be this wasn't fucking Underdog or some shit like that. This was, because Underdog. But, Colin, final thoughts and grades, sir.
So that was an interesting point that Scott made there at the end, and saying that you would recommend it to a younger person that would probably be more into Dora. And I was thinking that while I was watching this movie too. I was like, my 10-year-old niece would absolutely adore this movie. Mm-hmm. All the slapsticky stuff she would still think is 10 out of 10 comedic genius. Because she's a little kid.
Yeah.
So this movie caters a lot to a 10-year-old more than it's and then all of the stuff that I actually appreciated and really liked, she would get to experience some cool themes that are going on in movies for the first time. So in that respect, it's a totally fine movie. But for me, having to sit in the theater for 90 minutes watching it, it doesn't get that good of a grade as the grade for the 10-year-old would get. It caters too much to the kid. The slapsticky stuff, the fox that they don't explain, that I didn't watch Dora. Oh, okay, there was a fox in it the whole time. At least throw me a bone. Who the fuck is this guy? And then, Dora is a really good actress. I bet you're going to see her in some more popcorn flicks next summer. She can definitely act. I really enjoyed watching her on screen. She played Dora to the point where it wasn't over the top, which was actually surprisingly well done. I was I didn't think anybody you could do that. You're literally playing a cartoon show character that was made for 5-year-olds, and you're actually doing a pretty cool job with it. If I was to give a grade to the first act, like up until they get kidnapped, it's probably like a B plus. Like I actually really enjoyed myself. Like it was a good movie. Like it was totally decent even to me. I was like, oh my god, this is like actually surprising me. Then you get to the second and third acts and it just goes straight downhill. I mean, it's like I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, man, there was a good movie going here for a second and now I don't like this. So at the end of the day, I'm sitting there at the end. There's that fucking musical number going on. I was like, this is at best a C minus. So I'm gonna stick with that.
Okay. Well, wow. So we covered every spectrum. Like, wow, C minus, C,
Yeah,
C plus.
C's,
Damn.
all C's.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Dora,
fair.
you got an A though. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And I will say that I think the thing that kept me from going like C minus or D plus, because there are some of the jokes I'm like, ooh, if you keep this up, you're gonna not even be in the C range. Is that I think about something like Planet 51, or you know what I mean, like kids movies like that, where I just remember feeling insulted for children and going, God damn, like we can do better for
Like Emoji Movie, like that was like a slap in the face.
Or even like My Little Pony, which I didn't.
Yeah,
like,
we didn't get angry too. Well,
a couple points we did.
yeah.
So you know,
Hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, because remember, you gave that I think like a C originally, but then
It was
up on
better
your
than
stuff.
it was better than I thought it would. I think that was like graded on my expectations, which
That's
a lot
fair.
of movies are, if I'm being completely honest.
This would be fun
No,
if you
it
took
doesn't.
your kid to, and they're like, this was the first time they saw like this whole genre of film, and they're just like, oh, it was really cool when they were going into like the caves and the tombs and like the switches, and I was like, oh, I have a movie series for you to watch
Ooh.
later on.
You about ready to get your mind blown, Junior?
Yeah, little Indiana Jones.
Ooh, Jonesy
Yeah.
boy
So,
on
at
another
least-
adventure.
They got some good themes in the movie going for kids.
Yeah,
It was like, I mean, it was like overall positive. Sometimes these like kids movies, the message gets kind of convoluted in a way, and by the end you're like, was that positive? Or like I couldn't quite get it, but like because she was so strong the whole way, you're like, okay, this is like solid as far as what they were trying to get through, and I will give it credit for that.
Yeah, it at least like attempted to like have a message and not just be like just there like big flashing colors at the kids
Yeah.
to keep them stimulated for a little bit. It was like trying to teach them something good.
Colin, were you how close were you to a D?
Oh, whew. I
Pretty
mean,
close.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, I was juggling that D plus and that C minus there for a while.
Riding the line.
Yeah, it's all right. I think, but honestly, I think I liked the lead actor, the Dora who played Dora.
It also just quickly to add, it helped. It was like an hour 40.
yeah.
If this movie
yeah.
was like 2:15 or something along those lines, then it would have gotten a worse grade.
If this was an hour 50, this would have been at a D for me.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I think I would have got a C if it was an hour and 30 minutes and it didn't have a musical number at the end.
And no Fox.
Yeah, no, fuck, cut all the Fox parts out. You might be looking at you're getting close to that B.
Ooh.
yeah, I that dance number, because I was honestly, Scott, I was at C plus with you, but that dance number, I was like, nope, fuck that, you're getting a C now. Like, and I was even dipping towards C minus, but I was like, I really like Dora, so I'm like all round up. But it is so close to C minus, like it's like a 7.001. like if that movie was 15 minutes longer, it's a D plus or a D. Like I was really I was straddling that C plus or the C minus C grade, really juggling those back and forth this whole review. So yeah, but hey guys, we covered the C spectrum. So God, I even hate the absence. Dora the Explorer, have you watched it? If you have, please tell us your experience. I'm really curious. I had people at work asking me like, what did you see last night? I was like, oh, I saw Dora the Explorer.
Well, honestly, people want to know how these movies are when I tell them that I see them more than any other blockbuster movie. Like, are you seeing Dora? Oh, how was it actually? Like, they're way more interested in that. So, I mean, I'm curious to hear what other people have to say about it.
Yeah,
because most people aren't going to see this.
It's true. It is true.
Like, in fact, I'm gonna safe bet probably never gonna see it.
If you're listening to this podcast, then there's probably less than a 5% chance you've also seen this movie.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the crowd we're catering towards.
Wouldn't you recommend that? I mean, I think it would be more fun to listen to our podcast after seeing it, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I would recommend going and seeing it first, and then.
But I bet, but your point is that who the fuck's got time? Ain't nobody got time for
this.
Dora.
Nobody.
Ain't nobody got time
nobody.
for Dora.
No.
Yeah, yeah. So it made like 17 mil this weekend. I don't know what the budget.
Just like cashing. Everybody's been cashing in on nostalgia for the last 5 years. It's just like,
seriously,
and they're making money.
Yeah, I mean they're doing well.
Yeah. R.I.P.
So the
original
budget.
Content.
Sorry, what was that called?
I said R.I.P. original content.
Yeah, seriously though.
I can't wait to keep watching all the same stuff I've seen for the next however long.
Let's remake
Yeah.
Toy Story again.
Yeah,
Dude, they're gonna remake Toy Story with like a kid, like an actual Andy,
Yeah.
like playing.
I don't think they
playing
did.
with
What is it? Doorknobs and
bed knobs
and broomsticks. Yeah.
I like doorknobs and broomsticks.
Hey, I've been, enjoying some kind products during our Dora. And if you heard that by making it to the 55th and a half minute of our podcast about Dora and the Lost City of Gold, well done.
You get the gold star.
Yeah, you get the gold star.
Yeah, you get the emphasis on gold star. The budget was 49 mil. So this made 17 million.
It'll
so
make it back.
It'll probably make that back on
Plus
worldwide.
Yeah.
And this is going to air on Nickelodeon for the rest of time.
Yeah,
and they will keep getting advertising money off of it, so I'm sure they'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a very good point. But guys, what did you think of Dora? God Almighty, what did you think of Dora and the Lost City of Gold? Let us know in the comments below. You can go ahead and like us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. You can go ahead and follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow Scott on Twitter at
Nearmanthefirst.
You can follow Colin on Twitter at
TheReelOneal.
And you can follow us on oh my gosh, here's a list: Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, SoundCloud, and now on Stitcher Radio. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you're the first to know when we have new tracks coming out. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll have reviews up this weekend, this next week for Where'd You Go, Bernadette. I'm actually starting that show, The Boys. That was on Amazon.
I heard that was good.
Yeah, so I'm starting that tomorrow night, actually. And then Colin and I, we're actually going to go see Good Boys on Saturday. So I'll have a review up for that next weekend.
You guys just get to see everything together.
That's
Boys.
Not fair.
Move back to Nevada. Just do it. It's fine.
Boo.
But guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.
Meow.